but you can't cut this all out. People gotta have the context, okay?
Yeah.
Bowler GritShift. Today we're gonna go over the Racing Bro suspension on the Ultra B. I know we just did a video on the Rfloxa suspension, which actually performed pretty damn well considering its price point and everything like that, what you get out of the box stock. This suspension is a little different. Yeah, let's get right into it. We took this thing out to go rip at our local riding spot at Chrome, took it out here, ripped around a few different other places, and if you don't want to watch the whole video, it's okay. But if you want the details on it, listen, because there's some things that are super, super annoying that I really don't like, and then there's other things that I really do like. So getting right into it, when I was installing the suspension, triple clamps seem much more robust than like the Rfloxas. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with Rfloxa triple clamps, but these just look like they got more meat on them. The forks are 270 mil travel. They are a bit longer than the Rfloxas from top to bottom measurement, which inherently made me raise the fork tubes in the triple clamps, whereas the Rfloxas, I had to drop them all the way down to get that increased rake angle. Out here in Florida sugar sand, blitzing through whoops, 35, 40 miles an hour. You want to have a little bit more rake angle, that way you're not swapping or anything like that. Insert clip of me almost dying on the Stark. So the fork I think is pretty decent. It's super smooth. It's got a 51-pound spring in it. It, just like any suspension out of the box, it feels a bit soft for our type of riding. For you, if you're just more of a cruiser and stuff like that, it's probably going to be adequate for you. But for us, a little on the soft side. Main gripe that I have with the forks that I really, really dislike is it has toolless clickers where you could adjust stuff. But the edges, like the machining is, there's like no chamfer or fillet on some of the edges on the clickers on the fork top and bottom. So it's like, I don't know, it just feels sharp on your fingers. It's a little annoying to adjust. It's right underneath the bars. Obviously you can't really control that, but it's just annoying to adjust, and to turn it, it's tight. So you have to really like squeeze on it. The rear shock, not toolless at all. You need a flathead screwdriver, which is super annoying, but not the end of the world. A lot of rear shocks are like that. Actually, you need a flathead and I think a 17 mil, because it's got both. It's got low speed, which is flathead, and then high speed is, high speed is a 17 mil. So be prepared for that. Rear shock has a 500-pound spring. Rear feels way too soft in proportion to the front. I think this should have been paired 51-pound spring up front. The rear should have been just provided with at least a 550-pound spring or 600 spring for its compression and valving and stuff like that. Feels a bit soft. The reservoir on the rear shock is, I would say, I could be wrong on this, but I feel like it's equivalent to stock size. And again, could be wrong on this. I hope Racing Bros chimes in on the comments here to give clarity on this. But I think the rear reservoir being that small, going through whoops, like I said, we'll go from one end of the park to the other. It takes about 5 minutes traveling 35, 40 miles an hour, literally blitzing through gnarly whoops. And that generates a lot of heat in the fluid, which changes the viscosity of the fluid and creates inconsistency of rebound control. So that's something that I noticed towards the end of that little run, blitzing through whoops. Aside from that, doing flat land jumps and stuff like that, the longer travel up front seemed like it helped. Didn't have any harsh bottom out. Feels nice and, I would say, cushy on the bottom end, not like abrupt or anything like that. Suspension's not chattery. It feels pretty good overall. So yeah, some of the other things that we changed on the bike is the headlight. We removed that because now we're on a V3 controller. We blew up the last controller. And let me give you context on that. Chow, please put the video. Context on that is handlebar switches. I'm running a race harness on this bike to make it as light as possible. Handlebar switches right here. I was doing a little hill climb that had a step up jump, and I freaking hit off button on battery MOSFET switch. And what happens when your wheel is rotating still and you kill power to the controller and battery and everything like that is motor still back feeds current into the controller. If controller's off, it doesn't know how to manage that power. On the V2 controllers, that was a known issue for a lot of the guys that were doing wheelies, turning the key off, taking out of the ignition while they're doing wheelies, and they were blowing up controllers. So we'll show you a video on what that actually looks like on a fab table when you spin a motor that's not connected to a controller, and you'll see freaking sparks flying everywhere. It's kind of crazy. And I just like did that because I was trying to take a motor sprocket off to put on this motor. So we'll display that. Change that with a V3 controller. V3 now has new safety protections and stuff like that. So I can't say that that's not going to happen because I didn't develop this controller, but I know Jared over at EBMX said that is very, very unlikely to happen. Don't go turning your bike off while you're riding because it's still not good. Aside from that, there's nothing really else that's changed on this bike. It's 202 pounds. With the Rfloxa suspension, it was 202.6 or 202.8 or something like that. So it's literally 0.6 or 0.8 pounds lighter with the Racing Bros. So not much different of a weight difference, but still pretty decent. Yeah, that's all I got.